Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Wake up. It is Thursday, the 11th of December. And so that means we got 13 days left until Christmas Eve. We really only have about 3 days of shopping before the first candle of Hanukkah. So get out there, shop locally, shop your small business, think of everybody in your family and your friends. And I am Phil Brilliant. It is simply brilliant for this Thursday morning. So going to hit upon a couple things I want to go through relatively quick and not take up a lot of your time this morning. I do appreciate all the people when I walk into the council meeting last night who are like, "Oh, I love your Simply Brilliant. Can you do it 5 days a week? I need more Simply Brilliant." I think there's a lot of people who said they don't need more Phil Brilliant, but I do appreciate that. Thank you very much. Realize I, spend some time on this. I do prepare and do hope that you do enjoy it. And it's informational and that it's beneficial. So before I really get into this morning, we did get some sad news yesterday morning on the passing of Carol Kelleher. So that is the wife of the late mayor of Toms River, Tom Kelleher, a great man, a Marine, former Ocean County prosecutor, attorney here in town, and was a partner with a friend of mine, Judge Milt Gelzer and the Gelzer family. And but what I do remember, and Kelleher, Mr. and Mrs. were always together, and they would come, excuse the phrase, religiously to Passover Seder at Congregation B'nai Israel when we would hold the community Seder. And they would sit, and Mitch Little was there. Before him, Chief Masternardi, now Sheriff Masternardi. It was a community event, and always had the great opportunity to talk to the Kellehers. And Mrs. Kelleher would usually sit next to my daughter, and have the opportunity to talk. And we would leave mesmerized by their stories, their life, but their love and compassion and respect for each other for all of those years. I was reading her obituary this morning. Phenomenal woman, a teacher here in Toms River. And it looks like I thought the cute story of how they met at a Ruth Chadwick's dance studio on Main Street in 1956. And he kept, the Mayor Kelleher kept the ticket from that night and framed it with a picture of them, which I thought was really nice and sweet in her obituary. My condolences to her entire family, their friends, and really to the entire Toms River community, because really a gentleman he was, and his wife was a perfect. I'll say he was a perfect complement to her. Couples always make each other better, and together they were better. So my condolences to the Kelleher family, and there's not many replacements in the current generation for the greatest generation. So we do thank them for serving Toms River, and we'll miss her, and I'm sure her family will too. Pivoting from grace and dignity to the Toms River Council meeting last night, we start off by an announcement by the mayor that there's no live stream because the YouTube feed is down. People were texting me left and right. I will give Dana Tormolen credit that she sat there holding her phone like this on Facebook Live so that everybody could watch what was happening. It was very difficult to hear. Now I'm holding my hand like this for just a few seconds. I'm already tired of doing it. She held it for over an hour, and then her phone died. And hopefully the mayor will hold to his word and post the video. I have my doubts it doesn't come out with some edits, but we'll see what happens. And it's interesting because I went to my YouTube channel, no problems. I tried to video on YouTube, no problems. The camera was working because they were able to get a video in-house. But you know what? It is what it is. It's what was said. We can't turn back the clock. If we could do that, there's a lot of things I'm sure that we all would change in the lives of each other. But that's where we are. Council meeting started off honoring the Toms River High School East Raider football team for a championship. I think the whole entire school was there, but it was very good to see them. And then they went into executive session. Wasn't the original agenda, but in this world, when you walk into a meeting, you usually get a different agenda from Toms River. They did an executive session to talk about the affordable housing resolution that was on the agenda last night. Before they went to vote on the resolution, when they came back, of course, Mayor Rodrick sold this as the best possible plan. This is the best for Toms River. This is a victory. He took his victory lap. He plucked his muscles and flexed his muscles, did whatever you want to do, plucked like a chicken, all those different things we talk about. Whether all that is true or not, let's see if that gets out in a letter to the residents of Toms River, like his July newspaper that said there will be no more building of apartments, or his letter to the residents in your tax bill that said there will be no more building. I haven't had a complete opportunity to go through everything. I did get the chance last night to my surprise, so I wasn't really prepared to ask some questions of the attorney who was available to answer questions. But every time I asked the attorney a question, Daniel Rodrick spoke over him. I still need to go through this package. It's 22 pages. There's a lot to dig through it. But here's what we do know. There appears to be about 200 units to be built of affordable housing. So let's make sure you understand that. That's 200 units of affordable housing on a 20% set aside. And during my questioning, Daniel Rodrick overrode the attorney and said, no, we agreed to 40%. And the attorney goes, oh, didn't realize that. Hopefully the video comes out. You can see it live or taped. I was a little shocked. Again, I don't do this all the time. I've been involved in affordable housing because of redevelopment projects throughout New Jersey. I have a little bit of knowledge just to be dangerous enough. 40% is amazing if you could get that. The agreement, and again, let's also say the council approved last night what was proposed. The developers who sued and the developers who are now going to have to get deed notice extensions, and they're going to get paid to do that, upwards about $9 million combined from the Affordable Housing Fund, which is paid for by the previous developers. It's not taxpayer money. I will agree with that. But if they spend more that's in there, it then does become taxpayer money. And the pilots that will be extended, and that's payment in lieu of taxes. So that's a fixed tax payment. And that was one of the questions I asked. How much is that going to cost Toms River in lost tax revenue? There was a lot of, I think my new nickname for Dan Rodrick is Double Talk Dan. How's that? Double Talk Dan. Because he can double talk anything around. I have the agreement pulled up in front of me, not going to pull it up on screen. But the other thing I question, I'm going to tie two of these together, is Daniel Rodrick said, Fair Share Housing wants us to build units on Route 70. They selected the spot. I questioned him. I said, Fair Share Housing said build them on the Lakewood-Toms River border? Some double talk. I asked the attorney. Fair Share Housing said on the Lakewood-Toms River border because you're saying Lakewood. It's in Toms River, but you're saying the Lakewood-Toms River border? There's nothing in this agreement that the word Lakewood is even there. This could be built anywhere in Toms River. It does say, though, that Toms River Township is representing a Route 70 inclusory development. They have to change zoning to make it work by March 15th of 2016. So that has to 2026. This all still is to be finalized and agreed upon. Toms River Township needs to change zoning to make some of this work. But in this section, Okay, it has lot and blocks, which I haven't gone and looked yet. I believe it is adjacent to Lake Ridge on Route 70. Don't quote me on that, but I'm going to go check all this out for you and we'll report back. But it clearly states, okay, as reflected on the compliance chart attached as Exhibit A, so there's an Exhibit A, the below listed properties providing 134 affordable housing units produced through a mandatory 20% set aside, not 40%. Double talk Dan, it's 40%. We agreed to 40%. It's 20%. Okay. If he agreed to 40%, that's not what his attorney wrote. It says 20%. And then it gives all the lot and blocks. So if we think about that, 20% of what equals 134? My quick math, and I did do some calculations, 680 new units equals 136. So it's between 680 and 700 units. Remember, when developers do affordable housing, it's a reduced income they're getting and a reduced revenue they're getting on those units. So they need to have enough units to make up for that reduction. Okay. You don't just go build 134 units in a complex. You build 700 and that makes it work. He lied right to my face. Double talk Dan. He lied right to my face. Okay. The other thing in here, we did have a gentleman who got up and was objecting. You're going to build more affordable housing on James Street, Jamestown Village. There's an additional 42 units. It represents, once again, a 20% set aside. That looks like they're going to do it with some mixing. No, I take that back. So there's 14 existing units that they're at market rate that are going to become affordable housing. And so what's 42 minus 14 is at 28. So 28 new units at a 20% set aside, so if we do the math, that's probably about 110 new units in a building. They're going to build a new building. Okay. So what do we got already? If that's 110 and we have 700, we have 890 new units to be built in Toms River. It appears predominantly in North Dover, which is what we're hearing. And then at Jamestown, but then there's also something on Route 37 that's going to get built. Moral of the story, double talk Dan. New units are coming to Toms River. Do not be fooled by double talk Dan. Okay. He said no new units. There's new units coming. Is this the best possible deal for right now? After Toms River sued, after Toms River got sued, and after Toms River has been in court and court and court, today, probably the best deal, and the council approved it. What would have happened if we didn't sue and we went straight to negotiations? We don't know because it didn't happen. Can't really try to guess what could have happened. But that's where we are there. It was interesting listening to each council person describe why they voted. You definitely want to watch the videotape when it comes out. Other than that, on the agenda, I got up and spoke about an ordinance to lease the Toms River Soccer Association recreational fields. No objection for me. They used the wrong statute in the ordinance, which is defective. Do it the first reading, okay. Correct it between the second reading. They didn't correct it. And, Peter Pascarella, basically said, oh, it's just a flaw. We'll fix it. We'll correct it. So they voted and they passed it. But to me, withdraw it. Do it right. Do it right. Respect the law. It's wrong. Correct it and do it right. Whatever. I also got up and objected to the eminent no domain ordinance on the Boatworks. We put an offer in last year. We purchased it. We floated a bond. All these different things we did for $1.8 million. They couldn't negotiate a deal, so now they do eminent domain. And it was interesting, during the meeting last night, there was a transfer of funds that Councilman Sikosi asked about, and they had to transfer the funds to pay for an eminent domain payment because of the extent of time it took. I think it was like 5 years or something like that. And the interest on the monies that was in the bank that they had to pay. So they had to transfer money, which they did. Is tough to understand and hear, possibly from the money that was saved on what they were going to pay police officers, but didn't pay police officers, because Daniel Rodrick said there's no overtime occurring for police officers, which is bullshit also. But at the end of the day, this eminent domain is not an overnight thing. There is a risk of liability to the township for liens, for owed to the current property owner. This is not a slam dunk. My position was stop. Wait till 2026 when the new council comes in. Come up with a plan of what you want to do with the property before you start doing all this legal mumbo jumbo. And maybe you can negotiate with the buyer who you've already made the seller who you've already made an offer on. I lost. They voted in favor of it. It is what it is. But the point that I also made was everybody was yelling, screaming for years that they wanted to have input on what was going on in downtown Toms River. Don't let the mayor just do what he wants. Toms River should have input. It was, goodbyes to Council President Justin Lamb, Councilman James Quinlisk, who has worked very hard in his 4 years. He has really been the push for what is right in Toms River. And I will note, last night, for the first time in 2 years, every council person last night at least once said, I'm doing this for the residents of Toms River. That's what that's what they're elected for. That's what they're supposed to be doing every night. We heard it for the first time in 2 years. And actually, we heard Councilman Bill Burns speak for the first time since elected and since put on council. And what did he say? I did not steal money from Silverton HOA. I did not get arrested. I did not go down to the police station. I was not interviewed. In my book, well, we'll forget what I have in my opinion on that. That's what he said. And then he kissed everybody goodbye. Last, I was going to read to you, last two things. I was going to read to you what I actually spoke in the closing statements. I'm going to put off that now because this has already gone a little too long. But in closing thoughts, one, it was really great to see that they finally put Mayor Mohill's picture up on the wall of mayors. I was happy until it was quickly thrust from me when we realized that they put it up there, and as opposed to making room, they removed a picture. And who did they remove? Former Mayor Jerry Gagan, Kevin Gagan's dad. If you don't think that was an attack on Kevin, then I got a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn. What a dirty, rotten scoundrel Daniel Rodrick and his administration is. They removed former Mayor Gagan because they don't like Kevin Gagan. Disgusting. I was glad to see Kevin get up there and say something. Unfortunately, however, when I got up, maybe the fourth person to speak, Mayor Rodrick stood up and walked out. So he didn't get to hear what I had to say, and he also didn't get to hear what Kevin and the rest of the residents of Toms River said. I guess, you know what? You spend 4 hours on the road a day. You spend 8 hours in a school as assistant principal. You can't sit and listen for 1 hour to the residents of Toms River. Then you don't deserve to be mayor of Toms River. It's disgusting. This man continues to turn his back on the residents of Toms River, and you gotta wake up and you gotta hear it. Sorry if I'm getting loud again, but I get surprised. I'm sorry. It's ridiculous. Last but not least, I want to say, and I want to close on a very positive note. I had the opportunity, Virginia Haynes, retiring commissioner of Ocean County, sat next to me. Always enjoy engaging with her. I learned last night her family came to Ocean County in 1660. That's a long time ago. 1660. She will retire at the end of this year as an elected official, but will never, 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 ever stop working for the residents of Ocean County, the residents of Toms River. We were talking, I'm like, how long has it really been that you have been a public servant in Ocean County. She figures it's got to be somewhere around 40 plus years when she was first elected as a committee person. But just a couple things of accolades and who she and what she's done. I mean, she was in the General Assembly, the 10th District, from 1992 to 1994. She was the executive director of the lottery from 94 to 2002. She was a committee woman to the Republican National Convention from 2004 to 2025. That's 21 years. And she was the commissioner here in Ocean County from 2016, and her term will end the end of this year. A pleasure talking to Ginny Haynes. I consider her a friend. She will always tell you the story that we first met when I removed the oil tank at her mother's house. A very, very special person to me and a special person to our community. I'm Phil Brilliant. This is Simply Brilliant. Have a great day and a fantastic weekend.